Alrighty guys, we're gonna jump into the video, but a random mustache update, here it is. A lot of mixed reviews, especially from my family. They think it's a nay, I should get rid of it. I don't know. It's taken me a long time to get here, so I don't really know if I wanna just get rid of it very easily, but yeah, the update, just randomly, here you go. I don't know if it's gonna stay much longer. Let's jump into the video. Let me know if I've missed anything in the pros and cons and what you wanna see next, all right? So let's jump on in. You're thinking about making the move to Hudson, Ohio, but you wanna know the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the yin and the yang. Well, in today's video, we're gonna look at just that. We're gonna review what it's like to live in Hudson so that you can determine whether it's the right spot for you and your family, and if you wanna go even more in depth on the real estate side of things. Now, if that's the case, make sure to reach out so that we can really personalize this towards you and what it is you guys are looking for, and to make sure that it's still the right spot. However, if you learned something from this video, or if I missed out on anything, make sure to leave that in the comments below so that we can help others. And of course, if this helps, make sure to share it with a family member or a friend if it's going to help them in any capacity as well. So stay tuned, let's look at the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, and let me know what you think and where you want to hear about next. Let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel and you want to know all there is about living in Cleveland, Ohio, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you can be notified when we upload a new video and stay current on all things Cleveland. My name is Kip Sweeney with Living Cleveland, Ohio, powered by Mancuso Homes, eXp Realty, and we get calls from people just like yourself every single day looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, whatever that may be. We are here to help make sure that you have the most smooth transition as possible, make sure that what can be an overwhelming process is one filled with joy and excitement, right? So my contact information is in the description box below. Make sure to send me a text, an email, give me a call, or schedule a time to meet on Zoom or in person, and I'll be happy to go over the real estate side of things and find that perfect place for you and your family. But for today, we are gonna take a deep dive into the pros and cons of Hudson, Ohio, so stay tuned and enjoy the video. Continuing on with that historic charm, so you do have a lot of the more historic homes, but you have some modern homes. You're gonna have a lot of colonial style homes with some new luxury builds, right? So, but nonetheless, the atmosphere and the vibe per se is kept the same as you kind of drive throughout Hudson. So you're gonna notice that even, you know, if something's a little older, something a little newer, they still have certain architectural styles that are gonna keep the town feeling very historic, quaint, and comfortable. And this is gonna be, I guess, can be a con in some sense. I would say it's smaller percent that's going to see the con in this, because if you have the money to build and you want a very modern home, there's a couple of drawbacks. A, they're gonna be a little bit more stringent. You're probably not gonna get that modern home that you want. And then B, finding the land and the space is going to be quite difficult as well. You'd probably be looking at doing a tear down and then also having to get approval to build the house that you want, if that's, you know, in the cards. And I would say for majority of people, it may not be, but that is just something that you're gonna wanna consider when thinking about just the house style, if that's a big, like, you know, item on your checklist, and of course, what it is that you wanna do down the line with these homes. Now, because of this, there are some decent amount of HOAs depending on the area that just continue to ensure that these homes are well maintained, the lawns are taken care of, the streets are up to par, and of course, the community is doing what they're supposed to be doing, or taking care of the areas themselves. So this is just gonna be something you wanna think about. If an HOA is out of the cards, Hudson may not be the best fit per se, but not saying that you can't get away with a lesser amount or with none at all. You just might be on a busier street. And of course, that also will limit the amount of homes that you could see, because they're not always for sale, right? Again, a lot of things that happen in Hudson that bring people there, and a couple of these things being golf courses, clubhouses, some scenic views. You have some trails and green spaces where you're gonna be able to go hiking and just really partake and really just get a nice breath of fresh air and just to be active and to get out and about. But the historic and the well-planned neighborhoods and the historic styled homes, colonial styled homes, and historic charm is all gonna be preserved in Hudson, which is really, really unique to it, because you're gonna get a little bit in Lakewood, but it's a little bit of a different style. I would say Chagrin Falls and Hudson are gonna have those colonial style homes, those quaint homes and neighborhoods. It's gonna be filled with more locally owned businesses, as well as something where the community is more of a big aspect to their suburbs and to their area. So if that's something that you're looking for, if that's a pro, some people love to be involved, some people love to have these events going on year round, love seeing people come to their city and supporting these local businesses, then Hudson is a great fit. Now, let's jump into some others. The next pro is going to be the convenient location and commute. So Hudson is going to be pretty quick to major highways. You're going to have quick access to major highways such as I-80, I-271, Route 8, and it's just going to make it easy to get to Akron, about 20 minutes, and or Cleveland, which is going to be about a little further, 30, 35 minutes from Hudson. So you're kind of in a nice spot where you're able to go to both areas because they are bigger cities, right? Cleveland being bigger than Akron, but both offering quite a bit when it comes to restaurants, work, ball games, venues. If you want to go to a theater, if you want to go to, Cleveland has an amazing Playhouse Square, or if you want to go to a concert with venues nearby. Actually, Blossom, one of the bigger outdoor venues, is not too far from Hudson. So, there's that nearby as well. There's a lot of different spots to go around Cleveland. Cleveland is very easy to access, in my opinion, and you're able to get to a lot of different places. So it's not uncommon for people to live in one location and take a 30-minute drive to go to dinner, or a 25-minute drive to go to dinner, because people really just enjoy exploring. And I think that's what's unique with Hudson is not only do you have it in Hudson, but if you want to go to other places, you're able to get to these places quite easily by accessing the freeways that are nearby. So you really have an easy commute, whether that's to work, if you're going to downtown, or to Akron, or if you just want some leisure time or some sort of event that you are interested in, you're going to be able to do that quite easily. Now, of course, you're going to see a little bit of traffic, and that's going to be a pro, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but you're going to want to pay attention to it. And of course, it will also be in my map video when we get to Hudson, to keep an eye out for that. All right, so the job market. So another pro, many people in Hudson either work in Hudson or not too far away. Again, being that it's conveniently located, you're gonna be able to make it down to Cleveland or up to Akron pretty easily. So whether you are working in one of those bigger cities or you're in or surrounding Hudson, it's going to be very easy for you to do. But you have easy access to some of the hospitals that are nearby. You got Cleveland Clinic, you have University Hospital, so two pretty well-known and larger hospitals in the healthcare area, as well as Akron General, which is obviously going to be down in Akron. So you're pretty close to some of these better hospitals, depending on your skill or your level or what you're doing, what your job is. And then of course, you also have some private practices in the area, which is going to be more so in Hudson, but they're surrounding as well. So if that's something that that you're looking for as either a consumer, or if that's something that you are as a specialist, or if that's your career, you have that opportunity to work at those too. Now, you do have other jobs as well. A lot of entrepreneurship takes place in Hudson, Ohio, considering all the locally owned businesses that are in Hudson. And along with that, you have a lot of retail stores, shops, things like that, as well as restaurants, as I mentioned. Grocery store, big one, Heinen's. There's going to be a locally owned grocery store here as well. So even down to the foods is going to be very local as well. Now, when it comes to more of the IT, the finance, so you can find some in Hudson, but you're not going to be finding, like, depending again, your level, where you are, what you want to be doing, how high up you want to be, and all that. You may not find the proper fit in Hudson per se. It's not that you can't, but those jobs are going to be a little less than going to Cleveland or to Akron or even Independence, Ohio, which is a pretty big hub for some of that stuff. So this is just something that you're going to want to keep in mind because, again, if driving is out of the picture for you, then Hudson still can work. You just have to find the right position and the right job for you. But it's a pro, the job market is strong, and a lot of entrepreneurs do start up in Hudson, Ohio, which is really, really cool. Now, this next pro may not be for everyone, it depends, but going off of the schools, so it does have an excellent education system, but I highly suggest you doing some research on niche.com and greatschools.org to check it out, because if you are in the market, maybe you have children, you're going to have children, or you are moving with children, I guess same as earlier, but nonetheless, if that's something that you need, that it's on the checklist, this is a great spot for schools, both public and private alike. So there are both options. It's completely up to you guys what you want to do, but you have the possibility here. It is a great system. And again, I do advise to go to greatschools.org or niche.com to check it out and to do a little bit more research on your own, where I can't necessarily go too far in depth. However, it is a pro. You'll be happy with it. So that is a big pro on the list as well. Another pro that I want to add in, again, is just down to the county. So Hudson is technically a little further away. I wouldn't know if I would really call it a Cleveland suburb, but it's in Summit County. So it's outside of Cuyahoga County, which is going to have a little bit of the higher taxes. But being where Hudson is, you're going to see that's going to be a little bit more. So it's a pro and a con, because your Summit County taxes are going to be nice in the sense of, sales and all that type of stuff. But when it comes to the property taxes, that's where we're going to jump into a kind of a con when it comes to Hudson, because a lot of that stuff goes back into preserving Hudson itself and keeping everything updated, the infrastructure, all of that good stuff, as well as the schools. So it's just going to be something, that's going to, I guess, be a little bit of a neutral. You're in Summit County, which is nice, but again, Hudson is going to come with its own higher taxes typically. County-wise, great. City-wise, suburb-wise, it's going to be a little higher on the taxes. So it's something to note, because obviously you need to make sure that when it comes to the budgeting, you're going to be comfortable with that. So another pro, the outdoor spaces. So I know we've kind of talked a lot about the outdoors and what the city has to offer in the community, but I mean, it's important to note because people love to be able to go and just spend time outside and take hikes and throw a football, frisbee, whatever it may be. So you have Hudson Springs Park, which is going to be about a 50-acre lake, disc golf filled with trails and kayaking possibilities, all into one spot, which is really fun and which is really nice. Take your dog, throw the ball, enjoy that time, get into the water. You can have this here in your city, just nearby. There's also Barlow Farm Park, which is, it's not a farm, but it's great. It has a lot of greenery, green fields. So if you want to do soccer, if you want to play baseball, you can do that as well, throw a football. It's going to be a little bit more open. And of course you have Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which not necessarily Hudson, but it's only about 15 minutes away, which is a very well-renowned area. Along with this, you have a very safe community, right? So obviously we need to talk about housing because that's going to be important. And you have a very safe, family-friendly community, which is going to keep you feeling comfortable no matter the situation, no matter the time, no matter the day. It's going to be one of the safest cities in Ohio. I can't speak too much on it, but you will feel very comfortable, very safe, and you're going to feel that whether there's a local event, whether it's just you hanging out your house in the dark, whether it's you going to a park at night or just walking around at night, whatever it may be, you're going to not only feel that safety, but you're going to feel just comfortable because of the lighting, because of the community aspect, because of just volunteer work and all of that. It's just clean, comfortable, and you're not going to feel as if you have to worry about going out at a certain time of the day or being alone, which is a great thing for families, for young adults, whoever it may be. You're going to feel comfortable nonetheless. So that is a huge pro. So again, we kind of hit on it a little bit on that last pro, talking about the community. Community is going to be a strong pro as well as social events. So just to name off a few, you have the Hudson Wine Festival, you have Taste of Hudson, so you get a lot of different vendors and being able to experience what kind of foods Hudson has to offer, as well as farmers markets, as well as small little like concerts, not, it's nothing crazy, but live music at some of these places. There's, holiday celebrations. There's Christmas, there's July 4th, two bigger, well, I guess July 4th isn't the biggest holiday, but you do have celebrations for it. Christmas, obviously bigger holiday. You get a very festive feel because Hudson does decorate and they put up the lights, the Christmas tree, and they really make it kind of festive, right? So they really do all this stuff that brings people together and that allows for obviously children and adults alike to really enjoy and to have that feel. When it comes to arts and culture, you have music here, you have theater here, you have gallery spaces, and just areas for people to take part in creative outlooks, right? So depending on what you want to do, it has it here. Whether you like to cook, there's stir, so there's basically cooking classes. Or there's different galleries, the different smaller theaters where you can go and see just a live show. Right now it's not going to be Broadway, but I mean it's still going to be something that's fun that you can partake in. Or if it's something that you want to actually be a part of and act in or have fun with, you can do that as well. So really a lot of fun events and things to do for everyone and anyone, adults, children, young professionals, whatever it may be. So let's jump into some of these cons. Now, most of these cons aren't necessarily going to be surrounded by the living aspect of it, but more so the real estate side of things. So again, we mentioned how the taxes are going to be a little bit more in Hudson themselves. So the property taxes will be a little higher. So for example, as of right now, we have a 1.75% tax rate. So if you were to buy a $500,000 home, it's going to put you roughly around $8,750 per year. Right? So that's just going to be something that you want to consider. Now, for some people that are maybe outside of Ohio, depending on where you're coming from, it may not be such a big deal. So it's just something to want to think about. But for those in Cleveland, it's a little higher. But nonetheless, this is for your information to digest yourself and to make it fit for yourself. But that's something to be known. So for the most part, it may fall into the con, as well as the affordability, because Hudson is going to be more of an upscale community. So many of these properties are going to be a little bit more expensive. The median home price is going to be about $600,000. So for a first-time home buyer, it might not be the best fit, which is unfortunate because it's also a great spot for first-time home buyers and for young professionals, just because of everything that it has to offer. However, that's another con, right? So it's going to be limited to people that have that budget. Now, along with this is going to be the competitive housing market. It is a highly desirable location. It is a place that people want to be. So when the right home comes out of the market in the right condition at the right price, things sell fast. On average, it was about 30 days, which is going to be pretty quick at this price point. And that's not to say that they're not going quicker than that, because sometimes there's some negotiations and some things that take place that's going to make them sit a little longer. But nonetheless, that is pretty quick at this price point. People are ready to go. When they find the house that they want that is right for them, they're ready to jump on it, which is something to note. So people that live in Hudson, I guess it can be a little clicky, because what happens is that, it's like Hudson or die type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it can lead to people having this perception that them being from Hudson makes them better than others. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but sometimes you can get this feel. It depends. Now, I'm not clumping off Hudson into that, because it's truly not the sense. It's not the case. And just like any other city, any other place, there's always going to be people that bring it down for the rest of others, the rest of the people. Sometimes it can feel like if you're not from Hudson or living in Hudson that you don't belong per se. But nonetheless, it's not everyone. It's just something that you need to know, because at times you might feel that way. It's just, that's the case, because it's smaller, it's quaint. Everyone is together. You have that community feel, but sometimes you got to enter and get into the community, right? So that's just something I want to point out, because again, some people, A, either might want to be a part of it, but don't want that hassle, or B, want to be left alone and not have nosy people. Not saying they're all nosy, but you're going to run into some that are a little bit more nosy than maybe some surrounding cities. And this does kind of come from a sense of pride, because they do take a lot of care of their city, of their community, and of their properties, which is nice, because you don't want someone to your left or to your right. And I know I just looked at the opposite ways when I said it. It was like saying 2 with 3 in my hand, but you don't want your neighbor having overgrown grass and just stuff that is going to bring your property down. You want, obviously, if you do have to sell, if you do live there, you don't want your neighbor being a cause for your house to sit. And Hudson is going to be a place where people truly do care about all of this. You can read into it as much as you want, but I just want to make sure that you have the information, because it can be at times the case. And it is what it is, but you need to know. Our next con is going to be the strict zoning and development laws. Again, it's going to be harder to build a new home exactly how you want it, depending on what it looks like. Because as we mentioned, Hudson is very historic, and they look to keep that charm alive. They're not going to just let it go away. So when it comes to building a new house, which first of all, getting that new home, getting that land to build a new home may be a bit of a challenge. So it's going to look as if you're going to have to probably buy a home, tear it down, and then start that way. So find the plot of land that you want and the right place and the right location, and then you have to go from there. However, you're gonna have to keep this with, the build is gonna have to have its historic aesthetic, and you're going to have the right design to be able to be approved for the new build. Same with business regulations. So if you are a business owner and you do want to start a business in Hudson, Ohio, you're gonna have some challenges as an entrepreneur finding the right zoning requirements to open this new business. So again, something to think about, because a lot of times business owners want to live where their business is and in that same city, which makes complete sense. So these are things that you want to think about. And fun fact, I don't know if I've ever shared on these videos, but Mancuso Homes, we do new construction, we do new builds, we do big renovation jobs, and then we have the real estate side of things as well, which is where I'm at right now. And if this is something that's in your cards and you wanted to build like that, let us know. We can help make it happen. We've done stuff in Hudson, so we can but we can make sure that we're guiding you down the right path to make sure it's the right fit for yourself as well. And that goes well, pretty much anywhere around Cleveland as well. So always happy to help in that sense. But this is just something that you're gonna wanna think about. And going into this, yes, it's a con, but what's nice about it is you're not going to be looking left and right and seeing a development that all looks the same and then just random homes sporadically around the city. Sure, you have your historic charm and architectural style, the colonial style homes, but they're all unique in their own way, right? And so that's kind of what's nice about it, is that you're not looking left and right and seeing all these planned and new developments. You're seeing the city keep its historic charm. I know I've said it a ton, but it's true. And I can't wait to get outside and take a vlog and show it to you guys as well, because pictures and all that don't always do it justice. And of course, I always highly recommend to be able to visit no matter where you are, right? So that's a big thing as well. All right, so we got over those cons with the regulations and development. So the next thing is going to be kind of the car-dependent lifestyle that Hudson brings. It's going to have to be a con. It's honestly going to be a con in pretty much any city other than Cleveland or Akron. Even down there, though, you still have to get around. But, it's car dependent. You're going to have to drive places. You do have your sidewalks, you have your trails, you have your ways to get around, but you don't necessarily have major public transportation. You don't necessarily have those things that some bigger cities do. And of course, if you do have to get to some of these amenities, some of these businesses, or get to work, you're gonna have to make that drive for the most part. And this could lead to some traffic, so there is traffic at times in Hudson, and it's popular. So during the peak hours, you're gonna find that it could be a little slower, that you're getting caught at lights, that you're waiting a little longer, or if you're driving to work in the AM and you're coming home in the afternoon, just like everyone else, you might find that you're driving and you're getting stuck on the freeway a little bit. You're getting stuck on the freeway coming back. But with all this being said, and I've said it in previous videos, traffic in Cleveland isn't really that bad. It's not like we're New Jersey or New York or Chicago or California or anything like that. So yes, you have congestion, but you're still moving for the most part. Very rarely, unless it's a bad car accident or it's just something else, maybe a ball game or anything of that nature, will you be stopped for long periods of time. So you still do move, but yes, the delay is going to be aggravating. It's going to be frustrating. You just want to get home or you just need to get to work, but it's not going to be the end of the world. You're not going to be caught off guard by any means, and you're not going to be sitting there forever. But it's still something you need to think about, because if that's where you want to live, you have to also plan for your drive to work, because that is a daily thing for most people. So again, something to think about. So again, next con, I don't think this is going to be a huge issue because just the demographics within Hudson, but the limited nightlife and entertainment. So yes, they have a lot of stuff to do. You got your music, you have your gallery, you have your theater, you have your restaurants and bars and places to go, things to do. You have your events through the year. But if you are someone younger and a young professional that makes it in, that is in there, and you want a club, or you want a really, really active, high energetic bar, you may not necessarily get that in Hudson, Ohio, which is fine, because again, they don't necessarily need that in this city, but it also comes with an earlier closure of some of these places, right? So they're gonna not stay open as late as some other bigger cities like Cleveland or Akron. So you may have to make those drives to those places if that's what you're looking for. So it's just something to think about. It's a thought. It's just I want to make sure that you have all the information necessary. In conclusion, let's just review what we talked about. So Hudson is going to be best for your families, for professionals. It's going to be that upscale community. If you're a retiree, it's going to be a great spot as well because it has that safe feeling. It's going to be comfortable for you, and it has strong home values. It has great community amenities, whether that's parks or recreational clubs or anything of that sort, golf courses, whatever it may be. You're going to find this in Hudson, Ohio. So it's really great for everyone, minus maybe some first-time home buyers. So who's it not ideal for? So probably the first-time home buyers for affordability, or let's say a young adult that's looking for a very, very, very vibrant nightlife, like a lot of clubs. Not going to necessarily find that. You really won't find that too many places around in suburbs in Cleveland, but so be it. Or for someone that needs to utilize public transportation because it's not necessarily going to be easily accessible via Hudson, right? So it's not going to be the best fit for you either. And finally, let's talk about some tips for Hudson, Ohio, and for buyers alike. So first and foremost, I highly suggest to be pre-approved because you need to act fast. Not only that, but when you do act and you do submit an offer, sellers like to see the pre-approval letters because they don't want to tie their house up with someone who may not be able to get it in the long run. You know, after going and keeping it off the market for a couple days, thinking they have a deal in hand, falls through because the lender doesn't make it happen, or because the buyer isn't prepared or isn't able to get that loan, then everything falls through. More than likely, it just causes issues for everyone involved in the transaction. It's just not the way to go. You don't want to have this excitement that you think you're getting this beautiful home and then find out it's not going to happen. So act fast, but be prepared with a pre-approval letter, and of course, work with a local agent just so that they can really help you find the right spot. Make sure that A, the transaction goes as smooth as possible, and that B, they're on your side to help you get the best deals possible. So that wraps up our video on the pros and cons of Hudson, Ohio. If I've missed anything or if you want clarification on anything, please drop those questions in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. And of course, let me know what you want to hear about next. Be on the lookout for the vlog, and I will, as well as the map video, and we will get those videos out to you as soon as possible. But I hope this helps make a decision, and if you're from the area, if you know anything about Hudson, let everyone know about any other helpful tips and tricks or any information that they should know so that they can make the best decision for themselves and for their family. So again, my contact information is in the description box below. If you have any questions, make sure to contact me, and I'll be happy to help you in any way possible, whether that's Hudson or anywhere else in Cleveland, Akron, or anywhere surrounding areas, any of the surrounding areas. All right, but hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit of a longer one today, and I hope you got a lot of information out of it, and that I was able to help you throughout this video. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.